Diamond B Sports presents the American Sports Cavalcade with your host, the Tennessee Cowboy, Ed Bruce, and Brock Yates and Steve Evans. The American Sports Cavalcade.
State Capitol Raceway, just off the mighty Mississippi River. Here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the site of the 9th Annual Cajun Nationals. The fans here at the Cajuns have grown accustomed to some wild and unpredictable action from the NHRA. And if you remember our coverage of the Cajuns last year, you'll know why we expect more of the same action today. Like the finals in funny car competition, which pitted Al Segrini against Mark Oswald driving the local favorite Candies and Hughes car, with upset victory going to Segrini. Or one of the craziest races I can remember in Top Fuel competition, which had Gary Beck racing against his team owner and boss, Larry Minor. Hi, I'm Ed Bruce. As a matter of fact, that race was so unusual, later on in today's coverage, we're going to let you take another look at it. Brock Yates and Steve Evans are here to call all the action for you. So let's go to them down at the track and see what we can expect from today's racing.
Thanks, Ed. You know, we know the racing's going to be good down here in Cajun country, but how about that food? How about all that shrimp creole and the red beans and rice and the crawfish and all that good stuff, including, how about jambalaya? Remember the old Hank Williams tune? Well, this man behind me, Shake, he makes about the best jambalaya in the whole state, and he's brewing himself up a batch, getting ready for the racing. How we doing over there, Shake?
Real well.
All right. Maybe a couple of more minutes and I'm going to get me a plate. But in the meantime, let's go to my pal Steve Evans to see what else is cooking here at the Cajun Nationals.
For sure, Brock. It's the food, the atmosphere, and the people that make Louisiana such an exciting place. But it's this amber-colored liquid that gives professional drag racing its sizzle and thunder. It's called nitromethane. It costs $40 a gallon. It can be very hazardous to your bank account. The average funny car or fuel dragster consumes 10 to 12 gallons each and every run. I'll let you do the mathematics. It frightens me a little bit. At one time, 50% nitro to alcohol was considered a strong blend. Now it's a lot like a dry martini. They just kind of wave the alcohol can over this nitro. It's 90-95% in a lot of cases. And when you have this kind of horsepower, you figure nitromethane doubles the output of an engine. A lot of unpredictable things can happen.
You have just witnessed one of the most incredible crashes in the history of all motorsports. Ed McCullough and John Collins collided at half track during a qualifying run, and this happened.
It's McCullough in the near lane. The wheels are in the air. He has no steering. Suddenly, his Oldsmobile funny car makes a dead right-hand turn and hits John Collins right where a driver's door would be in a passenger car, and they go for a tumble. Onto the knife edge of the rail goes McCullough. The car is starting to come apart. It is Collins upside down, sliding into McCullough's lane and into the guardrail. Now it's McCullough in front of Collins. Nose first into the rail, the fuel tank explodes, and Collins slides through the fire.
It is a combination of good fortune and the excellent NHRA safety standards that permit both these men to walk away from this awesome crash.
Even at this point, there was still potential danger. Raw fuel pouring out of the tank of the John Collins car. Miraculously, it did not ignite.
As the massive crowd sat in stunned silence and safety crews rushed toward the automobiles, the two drivers struggled out of the wreckage and hugged each other in a celebration of life. Steve Evans reached John Collins moments later.
John, first of all, you're okay?
I'm okay, Steve. Thank you. I appreciate it. That was quite some ride there. Both cars seemed to leave the line pretty good. My car was running on a really good run, and Ed pulled up alongside of me, and I looked out the side window. I could see him, and the next thing I seen is he drove right into the side of me.
You didn't waste any time getting onto the car. It looked like you kind of fell on your head in there.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, Steve, I skidded on my lid, I think, on the roof for I can't say how far it was, but I know it was a few hundred feet. And there was a little bit of fire underneath the car from my fuel tank, so I popped my belts and I just kind of wormed myself out of the car, but it wasn't fun.
Both automobiles were reduced to small hunks of bent metal. This is Collins' car, shattered completely beyond repair, and about all that was left of McCulloch's automobile was the big fuel-burning supercharged engine. Steve had a chance to talk with Ed McCulloch as well.
Well, Ace, the thing that drag racers dread the most is a two-car incident like that. And first of all, you're okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, Steve. I don't know, I really don't know exactly what happened. I mean, the thing, you know, it squirted on out there okay, and I mean, it made a right-hand turn, and I mean, when it left, I mean, there was no correcting it. Yeah, I don't know.
John's okay, by the way.
Yeah, first thing I did when I got out down here is I went and saw John. And I'm glad he's not hurt. I'm glad I'm not hurt, but, you know, there's just something that, you know, you just really takes the wind out of your sails, you know.
I'll bet it does. So Ed McCulloch is obviously okay, as is John Collins.
But this is a moment they will never forget.
Baton Rouge is the state capital of the Sportsman's Paradise State, Louisiana. This is the state capitol building on the east side of the Great Mississippi River. Just 5 miles on the west side of the river is State Capitol Dragway, the home of the Cajun Nationals. I'm Steve Evans with Brock Yates and Ed Bruce, and we're about ready for the start of round one Top Fuel Eliminator. Brock?
Well, Steve, we're going to start it off with kind of a David and Goliath effort here. It's going to involve the reigning world champion, Gary Beck, from the Larry Minor team. Beautifully financed, terrifically designed automobiles, and they're going to go up against this guy, Dick LaHaye, an independent, a veteran of the Top Fuel Wars from Lansing, Michigan, who is not quite as well financed as Gary Beck in that Larry Minor operation. And of course, those guys have dominated Top Fuel competition for the last couple of seasons.
But Brock, Dick LaHaye makes very few mistakes. He makes you beat him. He's won a couple of national titles himself. LaHaye, his only crew person, is his 20-year-old daughter, Kim. She's capable of doing anything that needs to be done on this race car. Last year here, Gary Beck lost in the final round to his own car owner. Is there any chance, Gary, of a repeat of that situation that happened here last year?
Well, certainly relating to the race with Larry, it could. We are on opposite sides of the ladder. We wouldn't race each other till the final. He's trying real hard to beat me this year. We had a heck of a race in Bakersfield, California 2 weeks ago. We had a great final round race there.
There were no points for the World Championship at Bakersfield.
No, Larry's not going to try to beat me out of the points, but we're certainly going to try to race.
Well, race he will against this man because Gary Beck knows that Dick LaHaye is a serious contender at this event as he backs into the staging area with his daughter, Kim, guiding him along. That little bottle that she's got there is full of gasoline. In the event the engine starts to lose fire, she can give it a little extra squirt just to wake it back up, Steve.
Now, Gary Beck had lane choice. He qualified higher than Dick LaHaye. That's how you get lane choice in the first round. And that is his beautiful car over in the far lane. The Christmas tree, of course, a fixture on all drag strips around the country. But for the pros, Top Fuel, Funny Car Pro Stock, they only use that last yellow light. 0.4 of a second later is the green. Of course, if you try to leave before that circuit is complete, it bypasses green and goes right to red, and you're out.
So both cars stuck down in low with that two-speed transmission, and they're off.
And how about LaHaye? Wheel to wheel with Beck until the top end of the racetrack. Beck's big horsepower pays off. He goes into round two with a 564, a very respectable speed of 253 miles per hour.
Well, Dick LaHaye sure did a good job as well. He has nothing to be ashamed of this run. He went out against the world champion with all his flags flying. Right here, he's running head-to-head with Gary Beck, but it was about half-track where the big horsepower of Gary Beck began to pay off. It could have been simply an aspect of cubic dollars.
Well, for Gary Beck, a 564 gets him through round one over Dick LaHaye. And as Gary knows over the years, this can be a very tricky racetrack, and I have a feeling that you were more afraid of overpowering it than anything else.
Yeah, we are, Steve. We're just trying to be real careful. What was the ET?
564.
Okay, well, that's a fair start. We need a little performance here, though, too.
253 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's just kind of lumbering through is all it's doing.
Is one lane better than the other up there now?
I don't think so. I think the left-hand side is a little choppy, a little more chance of error, but they're pretty equal, real equal.
Well, we'll both be interested spectators down here now as Larry Minor, the team owner for Gary Beck, is up against Gary Ormsby.
Well, let's go to Ed, who recalls that strange Beck Minor finish of last year.
Over the years, the Cajun fans have come to expect some pretty outrageous action in drag car racing. 1983 was no exception. The top fuel dragster category was very fast. And when the 16-car field was narrowed down to the final two, they both belonged to Larry Minor. This marked the first time in top fuel racing history that both cars belonged to the same team. Larry Minor, in his rookie season in the cockpit of a top fuel dragster, had already made it to the semifinals once at the Gator Nationals, where he was matched up against his own driver, Gary Beck. Beck won that race, and going into this final, most everyone knew Gary Beck would win this race, thereby building up a larger lead in the championship points race. Beck was in the near lane with Minor in an identical car in the far lane. Off the line, and Beck was in the lead when suddenly he lost his blower belt. Beck was slowing down, and then Larry Minor shut it off in hopes that Beck would catch him. As both drivers coasted to the finish line, it was Larry Minor capturing the win with a 63-mile-per-hour top speed, one of the lowest, slowest, and wackiest races in the NHRA. So Larry Minor wins his first ever NHRA event title. Let's go back to Brock and Steve for more of today's racing action, fellas.
Well, that indeed, Ed, was the case of the reluctant champion. And here he is again, back at the scene of the crime, Larry Minor. He'll be up against Gary Ormsby. Now, these two guys both played a very important role in the first race of the season, the Winter Nationals. Larry Minor was the low qualifier, the second quickest ET in history at 5:40, and Gary Ormsby won the Winter Nationals. Brock, look at the giant funny car-style front wheels on Larry Minor's car.
Well, they can afford that kind of experimentation on this team. Larry Minor, a wealthy sportsman and a fine race driver and a really good guy, going up against another Californian, Gary Ormsby, also an experienced drag racer, and this should be a good event because these guys are pretty evenly matched.
And Gary Ormsby has first-class equipment, every bit the match of the Larry Minor team. He's a car dealer in Roseville, California, kind of grew up in the automobile business and a self-made success.
Well, speaking of those wheels on Larry Minor's car, Steve, you know that Ed McCullough car was one of the Minor team. I wonder if those wheels are off that funny car.
I think they're probably the spare wheels for that funny car. There wasn't anything left of the front wheels on McCullough's car. Lee Beard in the red shirt, the crew chief for Gary Ormsby. He checks over the instruments, making sure that the engine is up to temperature because that's very, very important. If they're not warm enough, they won't respond. They'll drop cylinders and probably lose a race.
They sure will, as we see the two automobiles moving toward the staging lights just to trigger that mechanism. From here on in, it's all electronic, Steve.
The lights are green, a good start, but Gary Ormsby loses traction, tries to recover back on the throttle, but it is not enough. By a car length, Larry Minor goes into the semifinals, 569, but only 220 miles an hour. Not a big speed for that car.
Right, Steve, but we've got lots more big speed coming.
We continue with the fastest accelerating vehicles in the world here at the NHRA Cajun Nationals in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Of course, I'm talking about the long, slender top fuel dragsters powered by these 3,000 horsepower engines. Little gasoline squirted into the injector to bring one half of the next pair to life. This is Danny Donnell. He'll be racing the red car of Joe Amato, Brock Yates.
That automobile you saw run at the Gator Nationals at 262 miles an hour, Steve. That is an absolute NHRA top speed record. So we know that Joe Amato's got it in him as far as top speed is concerned, and also, of course, he's winning a whole bunch of races.
He'll be challenged by Danny Donnell from Hanford, California, a farmer who has teamed up with a lumberjack, his car owner Earl Whiting. Joe Amato, of course, involved in the wholesale speed equipment business in Old Forge, Pennsylvania, and he has his sights set on a world title this year, Brock. You know, earlier I had a chance to talk to Joe Amato about why he and Larry Minor are using these funny car-style front tires at Baton Rouge. Well, Joe, it may look a little strange with funny car front tires, but the important thing is they're still bolted to the automobile.
Yeah, we had to make a change, Steve. Nobody's ever really put them on a car that'll run 260 in the quarter mile, but we was picking the other tires and just peeling them off. We almost crashed the car last night. It tore the whole A-frame right off the car. So we wanted to, just try something. So funny car tires have been tested. Goodyear said that they'll definitely work till 300, so we figured if we can make them work on the car and it's stable and all, and that was more or less a shakedown run, and it seemed to work. It went 258, I believe, and it seemed pretty good. The track is bouncy, so that gives you, you think, well, the tires aren't really perfect, but it's more the track than the car or the tires.
One of those larger front tires, Brock, they're heavier, they push more wind, and they're going to slow the car down a little bit. But you'd never know it. Looking at this. Joe Amato in the right-hand lane strings out over Danny Donnell. Amato, 565, 257 miles an hour. With the motorcycle-style front wheels, he might have gone 260.
Well, they're trying a whole bunch of new things here at Baton Rouge as we see Joe bounce to a halt down there at the far end of the racetrack. This lady, of course, Shirley Muldowney, who could ever forget that lady's accomplishments? She's ready to go, and she's got a new piece of equipment on board. Steve talked with her earlier about it.
Well, Shirley, your guys are trying a new engine combination. You've kind of been sneaking up on it in qualifying a little bit, haven't you?
That's exactly what we were doing. We didn't want to get ahead of ourselves, and we're trying the new Sid Waterman injector.